Welcome to the Under Construction Podcast with me, Martin Williams. Here we talk about how to build or rebuild your life one step at a time. Let's get to work. And thank you for tuning in to the Under Construction Podcast. My name is Martin Williams. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. You may do so on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and SoundCloud. All the links to the podcast can be found at guidedexpressions.com/podcast with an S. Today, my subject is, what is fear costing you? So everyone has a fear of something. There's no such thing, in my view, as a fearless person. What I do know is that there are people who do not allow fear to control them. There are people who decide that they're going to do what they need to do, regardless of how fear may be trying to stop them from doing whatever it is that they set out to do. And really, that's the key. The key is not to be so much fearless, but the key is to not let fear control your life. Because when you let fear control your life, it can cost, and it can really be an expensive emotion to not control. Think about all the things that you haven't done because of fear. Think about all the things that you haven't started or finished because of fear. Think about all the relationships that you've either not entered into or not allowed to flourish because of fear. Think about the various experiences that you haven't, enjoyed or participated in because of fear. Think about all the things you haven't tried. Think about all the foods you haven't tried, all the places you haven't gone. Can you imagine being afraid to travel and then finally deciding, okay, I'm going to go somewhere, and then COVID hits and now you can't travel anywhere? I mean, there's still flights going on and some things have been relaxed, but, we're certainly not 100% out of the clear, right? We're not 100% in the clear, I should say, with this. So, there's just a lot that fear can be very costly, and it can cost you so much. But do we ever really think about all the things that it costs us? Do we ever, write it down? Do we ever tabulate it? Right? So some years ago, I did something called a fear audit, right? So I took an audit of all the things that I did not do because of fear. And it really opened my eyes to how much I was allowing fear to control my life. I think a lot of people are not really aware of how much they allow fear to control their life. And it gets to the point where, it just builds up and builds up. And there's times when, you may want to do something. You may want to, start a business. You may want to, call someone, but, there's something stopping you. And a lot of times that something is fear. And, fear is irrational. There's no reason for you to be afraid of the lion's share of the things that people are afraid of. There's no reason to have that fear, but people had that fear regardless. And it doesn't really help you grow, because fear in and of itself is not so much destructive. It's when it stops you from doing things is when it becomes destructive, right? It's when it stops you from taking action, because when you take action, that's when things shift in your life, right? Nothing happens until you take action, right? As much mindset work as we do, as much, visualization work we do, as much planning as we do, excuse me, until you take action, until you actually take a step and decide, okay, I'm going to change my life. I'm going to start eating better. I'm going to start exercising. I'm going to start getting out and meeting people. I'm going to take my gift seriously. I'm going to put it out in the world. Until you start doing that, nothing really changes. Everything remains an idea until you take action. So I think a lot of people, because they haven't taken action in such a long time, they don't really realize how much fear is costing them. So I think this is a great idea for you. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a link in the description, and you can go to Google Docs and, basically pull down a copy, right? Save a copy, of course. And then, start writing out all the things that fear is costing you. Think about, all the people you didn't meet. Think about all the places you didn't go. Think about all the things you haven't done, right? All the businesses you haven't started. Look at all the business ideas. Write down all the business ideas you've had in the last 5 years that you haven't executed on, largely because of fear. Fear that it won't work, fear that no one's going to like it, fear that you're not good enough, fear that there's no market for it. Whatever the reason is, the reason doesn't matter. If fear is what stopped you from doing it, you need to put it on that list, right? And that's in one column. And then in the next column, I want you to put a monetary value, because we all understand money, right? I want you to put a monetary value of what that fear cost you from bringing into your life, right? One business idea could have been worth $100,000, right? So write that down. And if you had 20 business ideas, write down $100,000 for each one of them, right? And when you tabulate it, right, what is a friendship worth? It's priceless. But put a monetary amount anyway, okay? But I want you to understand. I want you to get a full understanding of how costly fear is. And when you understand how costly something is, that's bringing you no value whatsoever, because fear controlling your life gives you no value. It takes away value. It takes value out of your life. It doesn't add value. It's costing you, right? And when you understand that how much something is costing you versus bringing value, right, you'll take action to do something about it. So I'm challenging you to do this because I want you to understand that, the years go by, they go by, and I don't want you to get to the end of your life thinking about what if. There's a story, that the late Wayne Dyer put in this book. And he said that when you're in your 80s and you're sitting in a rocking chair, whether it's in a nursing home or, your kid's house or wherever, right? He said he will regret the things he didn't do much more than the things he did. And that stayed with me for years and years and years after I heard that, because that's what fear stops us from doing things more so than it urges us to do things, right? So when you look at all the things that fear stopped you from doing or prevented you from doing, right? You don't want to be in that rocking chair thinking about, man, I wish I would have, went out and did this business, or, I wish I would have asked that person out, or I wish I would have taken that trip. I wish I would have went with that business idea. You don't want to have regrets, right? I think we'll all have some regrets, but you want to minimize those regrets. And especially if you're at an age where you can do something about it, right? And, there's no such thing as too late in my book. If you're, in your 70s or 80s or even 90s listening to me, first of all, thank you. and second of all, it's not too late for you either. You can start, whatever it is you want to start. But my point is, don't let fear control your life anymore, no matter what your age is. I don't care if you're in your 20s right now. I don't care if you're in high school. I don't care if you're 30s, 40s like me, or older. It doesn't matter what age you are. Stop letting fear control your life. And when you start basically taking control of your life and letting fear, take a back seat, because you're never going to really get rid of fear. But when you start letting fear take a back seat and you just decide, okay, I'm doing this. And, no matter how afraid I get, no matter how much anxiety I might be generating inside of me, I'm going to do this thing because my life will be better if I do it. Even if it doesn't make me a millionaire, my life will be better for doing it versus not doing it, which is a great way to make decisions, by the way. Is this going to make my life better? Yes or no, right? If it is, and if it's going to make the lives of other people better as well, then that's the thing that you do. But you don't let fear control your life no matter what. So do that fear audit and go to my Facebook page. The link is in the description, or go to my IG. Link is in the description as well. Leave a comment. Tell me what you thought about it. Tell me what came up when you did it. And, I will respond. I'll talk to you. So, just kind of let me know you're out there, and hopefully this helps you. My name is Martin Williams. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Under Construction Podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I'll talk to you soon. Don't forget to subscribe to the Under Construction Podcast on Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and SoundCloud. For more information on Guided Expressions courses and products, go to guidedexpressions.com/products.